The new 107.1, the Boss Classic Rock of the 70s, 80s, and more. I'm Michele Amabile, joined by Glen Burtnik, he of the Weaklings, Styx, the original Beatlemania. The accolades just go on. And this Saturday, it's the Summer of Love show at the Paramount Theatre. Welcome, Glen.
Hey, I'm happy to talk to you, Michele.
So tell me about these shows. This is how many years going now?
Well, the Summer of Love show, we celebrate the music from 50 years ago because 1967 was the Summer of Love. And that era of music, which flowered a few years later blossomed into the Woodstock generation. That music it won't go away, seemingly. and the whole vibe of, peace and love and stuff like that. I was 12 years old in 1967. The music hit me really hard. I had one brother that went to Vietnam and another brother that went to Haight-Ashbury, where the hippies were. And so I was kind of, right there like a little 60s baby. And I embraced that music very much. And like I said, it won't go away. So I got together with some of my most fabulous, talented friends. And we've put together this amazing show where we celebrate the music from that lovely era of rock and roll.
Now, this set list is amazing. You basically start with the 1967 release of Sgt. Pepper's, but you do the Stones, Dylan, Creedence, Hendrix, Joplin, the Association, the Turtles, Beach Boys. It's just the best songs from that era.
Yeah, we try. We try to grab the most memorable moments, which is hard because there's so many, and like I said, I've got at least 20 people on stage, and we all take turns in singing or being featured. But we try to touch on all of it.
Now, who's in the band this time around? Who's playing with you?
Well, let's see. We've got Joe Belia on drums, who's also in the Weaklings with me, which is another project. Vinny Daniele on bass, Joey Law on guitar, and many other. We have Taylor Hope on violin and Dave Nunez on keyboards. But also, there are a number of featured artists and background singers and stuff like that. There's Reagan Richards. And Anthony D'Amato, better known as Remember Jones, and so there's a lot of the locals that I draw from because I live in Asbury Park, But then there's also a number of our friends from Newark. Freedom Bremner is amazing. Jaquita May is amazing, and we have a horn section. We've got the strings. We've got percussion. We've got lots of background singing. My wife is in the show. Brielle Von Hugel, who she's fabulous. Anyway,
she was an American Idol alum and was in Postmodern Jukebox.
That's right. That's where Brielle's from. Yeah, she's great.
Well, you're a gift to musicians. You give everybody a shot on the stage. Jax always talks about the time she played with you before, she went on Idol. And it's just wonderful that you always have a nice cross-section of people. You have so many friends, though. You could probably just call up people and just get it rolling, right?
Well, I hope so. I'm a fan of music as much as a lifelong musician. And instead of it being all about me, I enjoy performing alongside young musicians and talented new faces. And so, I kind of collect musician friends. I have many, and I adore them all. I appreciate their talents, and I put it together in a show, and I think about the audience mostly. If I were in the audience, I would want a show that was versatile. I wouldn't want to just keep watching the same, 6 guys on stage standing in one spot. So, in thinking about, what would be interesting to an audience, I ask all of these fabulous musician friends of mine to take turns on stage, and it works really well. The audiences love it.
Now, you've had quite a storied career with Beatlemania, and of course your solo career with the hits that follow you. And I still love "Here Comes Sally." I love that song, love that song, love that song. And Palookaville, such a great underrated album. And but you've been able to have that kind of a career and play with the current version of ELO and Styx, and you've had your hit songs with Don Henley and Patti Smythe that Sometimes Love Just Ain't Enough. How do you do it? How do you do it all? You're always traveling too. You're all over the world.
Well, thank you for all of that and paying enough attention to know all those details. I consider myself just extremely fortunate, and I've tried to stay flexible enough and, to be able to wear as many hats as possible, and that's kind of kept me going. I was a songwriter for 10 years. That was my only gig. I just wrote songs for other artists, and that was a good era. But now I'm back into the live era. And I'm playing bass now, where I used to play more guitar. I mean, it's funny, but
which is funny because in Beatlemania, weren't you Paul with the bass?
Yeah, I was bass then, and then I went back to guitar. And I flip around. It's versatility which has kind of kept me on my feet, I guess.
Well, the question is, now you've got the Weaklings, the new project, which is wonderful, very, very Beatlish. Of course, I expect nothing less from you. Great melodies. How did that project come about?
Bob Berger and I have been friends for over 30 years, and we've written many songs together, and a number of them have been successful. He and I together, and he and I separately, but we never played together in a band, and it's funny, and we're very, very good friends. And I had a show called I do an annual show called Beatles Bash in New Brunswick, and I hired Bob continually every year to play in the band, and we were enjoying playing with the guitar player, the other guitar player who I hired, John Rajavi, and the drummer of the show, and the four of us actually started to just gel so well in that show that we said, well, maybe we should try the old-fashioned concept of a rock band. And so there's four of us with Joe Balia, and we, it's really like an old idea for us because we all do play in a million different bands and many projects. But, the old school idea of let's four of us just get together, write songs, put out records, and play, all over the country. And it's been working out really well.
And now the big question is, now that you are playing with Max Weinberg's Jukebox, I guess the Weaklings is the house band. Is that how does that show work? Because that's going to be at the Pony on the 30th. And I've got to see that. I was watching the videos from the New York shows, and that just looked like so much fun.
It is just so much fun. Max made a list of his favorite songs, and we present that to the audience. There's a rolling list of songs on a video screen while we play, and Max asks the audience, okay, which one of these do you want to play? The list is very long. It's hundreds and hundreds of songs. So we put it out there, to the audience. What do you guys want us to play? And sometimes it's songs that aren't on the list, and the audience gets very excited about the interaction. There's going to be a lot of Bruce Springsteen fans there because of Matt. That's how half the audience knows Max for that. The other half of the audience knows Max for his 10-year stint on the Conan show, Conan O'Brien. But so we just do what the audience wants us to do, which is it's a challenge for us a little bit because there are so many available songs, and we do it. It gets pretty crazy. I got to tell you, it's a pretty wild night of rock and roll, pretty raucous, really.
What was the hardest request thrown at you guys so far? Because I'm imagining you're up there and people are just yelling requests up off the list. Did anybody try and go off the list and stump the band? I'm sure there's got to be a couple of people like that in the audience.
Yeah, well, sometimes they'll ask for something crazy that, you know, it doesn't even make sense, like Close to the Edge by Yes. You know, that's like a 20-minute song, and so complicated, it's just like, come on, you know, let's keep it rock and roll, you know? Yeah, I mean, the other night, wow, I'm not going to remember, but the other night we played in Chicago, and I walked off stage and I said to the guys, you know, there's 2 or 3 songs I never played before in my life that now I can say I've performed them, you know. It's a pretty varied list.
It sounds like so much fun. I'm telling you, you've got the career. I saw you with Styx at Six Flags Great Adventure, and it was you were wearing this tank top, and you were talking about just that you were going to go home and sit on your porch in Jersey and everything. And I was just like, wow, you were like having the best time up there.
I do have fun, you know. Like I said, I'm a fortunate guy, and to have this career of, you know, being a rock and roll guy and running around on stage like a lunatic, it's lovely. I'm fortunate.
You know, Styx is in town next week. Do you still keep in touch with those guys? Do you miss those guys? I mean, you're just so busy. I don't think you have time to miss anything.
No. They're great, you know, and I'm friendly with them, and they work so hard all the time, and I'm working so hard, you know, on my other stuff. But that's a really great band, and I strongly suggest, if you like classic rock, to check them out as well.
Well, I'm looking forward to this Saturday's show at the Paramount in Asbury Park, The Summer of Love. Tell me, what song do you really love playing during that's not a Beatles song?
Well, lately I've added Darlin' Be Home Soon by the Lovin Spoonful, which is a song that always really meant a lot to me, and it's you know, it's a deep track, I guess, but yeah, there's no shortage of tremendous material in this show.
I'm just curious, what song by Ravi Shankar you do? Well,
that's when we have the sitar players with us, and I'm not sure if they're going to be with us. No, I don't think we'll have them Saturday at the Paramount Theatre. But yeah, we'll definitely. You know, I think before the show starts, we do pipe in Indian music, and it's Ravi Shankar.
Well, Glenn, do you think some of your friends might just come sit in? Will Patty Maloney come sing a song or two? I love Patty.
We'll see. She often does. You know, we'll see.
Excellent. Glen Burtnik, thank you so much for checking in with the boss.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about it. I think it's great.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you for checking in with the new 107.1 The Boss. Remember, Summer of Love show, Paramount, this Saturday. Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks.